bacon, baby. We're ready for some bacon talk, baby. Bacon. I got sound, you got sound?
It's meant to be.
It's meant to be. Look at that, it's kismet, darling. So I've missed you since KetoCon. Oh my God, you're so awesome, dude. We miss your face, just saying.
I mean, you're amazing too. I mean, out of the crowd, obviously I picked the most vivacious person to actually interview. And I mean, our topic, I think, was both reciprocal and the energy was just back and forth.
We had so much fun, and I won't lie, dude. I'll hold up my hand and I'll say, I thought you were just another pretty face. I need to make you a sign that says, not just another pretty face, because, dude, you are smart. You know.
Hey, self-talk.
You know a lot of stuff. So today I want to start with bacon, because bacon is my passion. I would love for you to tell us a little bit of, I know, right? Bacon loves me back. But Body by Bacon, wah wah, just saying. So you guys have awesome shelf-stable bacon. And there's got to be at least 3 people on the planet who haven't heard of it yet. So please, do tell.
Oh, it's got to be the vegans, for one. I think that's a big... Vegans, vegetarians, I think, have heard of it, but they're just too proud not to eat it.
Right.
Doctors don't want you to eat it, so they're probably another one.
Right.
Not the type, the ones in the hospitals are like, oh, bacon's terrible for you, don't eat it.
Don't eat bacon.
And what's the third guy? Probably just like some weirdo, like hipster artist in the woods that gets his real meat, like pigs he grows. That's the only thing anybody should know about bacon.
Right? Oh, yeah. and I love that. I'm going to tell you a secret. So Nancy brought home the bacon from the swag bag stuff, and her grandkids, they could have raided anything out of the stash, like the cookies, the chocolates, anything. And this is how she knew they were eating the bacon. She heard them in the corner go, oh, dude, there's 2 pieces in every pack.
Yeah. So for people that know, we offer snack bacon, shelf stable. I think the thing about that is, just a little bit to go off topic, even though it's still bacon, is that beef jerky tends to have a lot of added sugars nowadays.
Yes.
You don't know when that animal was grown, and it's so hard that even when I get like on a plane or anything and I'm on my way somewhere, I don't eat any of the air flight food. I don't drink anything they give me.
You can't.
And then I'm sitting there like my fast is coming up real soon in about half an hour that I need to break. And then I don't have it. And when I eat beef jerky, it gets stuck in my teeth. You know, you talk to the pretty girl next to you, and you're like, oh,
sexy.
sorry, like I got stuff in my teeth. Yeah.
Don't mind me.
You get 2 slices of bacon. It's a nice fatty little thing until you have that extra hour kind of prolonged in your fast. And then you can go, like, hopefully find a restaurant when you land.
Well, and that's the key. Like, when I flew back from Austin, between when you clear security, the flight, the waiting time, it was 6.5 hours. And man, I had 1 Stoka bar and I had 2 packs of Parm crisps, and that like pulled me right through. But they don't serve anything on the plane we can eat, like nothing. They're like, oh, we have a gluten-free tray. It's hummus and crackers. And I was like, well, I can't eat hummus or crackers. I maybe could lick the salt off the crackers, but I'm not paying $12 to lick salt off a cracker, just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Or they give you peanuts, which I found out recently that peanuts are not a nut, it's a legume.
Yes.
So, I mean, wonder people have so many allergies to peanuts.
Well, and
we had one question real quick.
Oh, yeah, by all means. I'm going to check on Facebook, too. Because we're on Facebook, too. If everybody didn't know, we're also live streaming to Facebook, too.
See, you're the one that's innovative, and I love that. I love the fact that you can do that.
That's me.
Well, back to the bacon. I think I was actually talking to somebody in a store today about bacon, because once again, I always get on topic about bacon.
Me.
And I seriously think bacon is going to be the superfood that pulls out of the obesity epidemic. And what I mean by that, it's got the 2 big things that most people consider the unhealthiest thing in America, which is fat and salt.
Yeah.
The 2 things that people think they need to minimize in their diet are probably the best things for them, and it's contained in bacon. So, say you're diabetic. Why is what happens to diabetics? They are insulin resistant, depending on type 2 or type 1.
Yes.
Or they just don't produce enough insulin or too much of it. Now, the reason why those skyrocket up and down, it's not to blame sugar and fat. It's to blame, or not to blame the salt and fat, but to blame the sugar. And
yes.
you know what? If you get the right bacon, especially Peterson's Farms, there is no sugar in it. Where a lot of other bacons on shelves nowadays, 2, maybe 3 sources of sugar. What?
Well, and lots of times it'll say it doesn't have any sugar, but you flip it over and it says it in the ingredients, right? Like, there's not enough sugar that they have to claim it on the label. There's only like 0.9 of a gram of sugar, so they don't have to say it, because they can say per like 4 slices, right? So if there's only, 0.9 of a gram in a slice, they can say it's no sugar, and then you're having 4 slices of bacon, and really you ate 4 grams of sugar, and you didn't even realize you were eating it, because the label says sugar-free. And if it says it right on the front, Josh, it's totally true, right?
Yeah, right. No sugar added. But then you look at the back, and then serving size. So I guess a helpful hint for people out there is always check the serving size and the ingredients, because you never know. Because I think maybe me and every other keto person out there, you can't just have 2 slices of bacon. If I buy a pack, I'm eating the whole pack. If someone else wants bacon, I'll be like, I'll buy you a separate pack, but you're not touching my 10 slices specifically that I'm about to enjoy. I cook it in the oven. I have my stuff ready. I cook Brussels sprouts in it afterwards. I use the same bacon. And it's just funny when I think a lot of people might think this is too nitpicky, but if you're going from a high glucose diet to a high fat diet, even like 5 to 10 grams of sugar can somewhat spike your insulin. And that's not good for those people that are specifically looking at that for more of a cancer-based approach, or more strict for a diabetic approach. Some of those diabetics, they have 10 grams of sugar, and in bacon, why are they adding sugar in bacon in the first place? And then they spike themselves, and then they feel like crap all day.
Well, and you don't always know, and it's happened to me. Like, I'm going to say, since I became keto and I pay attention to my body and what I put in it, I can tell you if I've had something that's had a little sugar. And that's because for 3 days, I want to shove all the things in my face. I'm like, oh, I want junk food. I want candy. I want junk. I want garbage. It's not my period time yet. Why do I want all this junk? And it's usually trace sugar, right? Like that trace amount that you didn't know was in there. You flip over the label and you go, cane sugar? Why is there cane sugar in my bacon?
It's just ridiculous. And I think people need to get away from having that kind of hypocrisy to themselves that, oh, well, my doctor told me this, and do a little more research and go into the facts and find out for yourself, and maybe do some self-experimenting. I think that's the furthest way we can get past this mindset that I want to talk to you about right now, as considering there's a healthy food, and then there's like the crap food. You either go to Whole Foods to eat, or you go to Ralph's or this store to eat, and you get the bottom of the barrel thing. I think we need to get rid of that logic. I think the logic needs to be, there is just the standard of food, which is the quote-unquote health food. Yes. And then there's the stuff, which is poison. The poison is the stuff that's why we're getting all this obesity epidemic, as well as the overall just chronic disease.
I agree 1,000,000%. And you know what? I believed everything my doctor said for years and years. Just like Dr. Ken's book, I bought into it. I bought low fat, high carb. I bought that all day long. And they said things like, oh, Dory, if you're hungry, fill up on things like white rice. It expands in your stomach. It makes you feel full longer. If you're hungry during snack time, eat things like, popcorn with no butter on it. And you would sit down with a big old bowl of it, right? Because it's diet food. So, and I please don't, I seriously, the bowl that big. Like the biggest bowl you can find. And you sit down with the bowl of popcorn because it's diet food, right? And things like angel food cake. That was fat-free. That was like diet cake, dude. Like you could totally eat a whole angel food cake in a day and not even feel bad because it was fat-free.
You know what that is, though? It's called the vanishing caloric deficit. That's a term deemed by food industry people for these, like, angel food cakes. Yeah. Where what happens is these industries actually go into making sure that that food evaporates instantly. So when you have angel whatever, or something that dissolves right away, like cotton candy.
Yes.
You feel subjectively in the back of your mind, subconsciously, also you feel that sense that you're not eating calories because it just vanishes. And it's literally a term deemed by these sugar lobbyists and food companies to addict you to their food, because even though it vanishes, guys, like if you eat cotton candy, the cotton candy's still going down somehow. It like turns into your saliva, you swallow it, and that's where all the sugar and stuff is in your diet. Now, I'm not saying our public generally eating cotton candy every now and then, but that still applies to like these high, like spongy fructose-based cakes and things like that. When I think the realest food you can have almost has like a primal grunt to it. Like when you bite into a steak, like you almost get like primal with it. You kind of like, oh yeah, that's the real stuff. It's like a whole thing of like, oh wow, do I feel good? Ah yes, I need more of that. Rather than you eat sugar and you're like, I need more. I need more. I need more. I run to the fridge. I have to eat more. I'm like, why do you need more of that? You should be able to eat like a pound of steak and sit there and be like, I'm full. I am good.
Well, and you know what? You can never overeat on things like bacon. Because you know what? You never will. You never will. You could sit down with a pound of bacon and you could be like, okay, I am so full. I am so done. You will never eat yourself sick on bacon like you did on Skittles and Snickers. And I found for me, it was like the sugar always needed that more of a high. Like, I worked a factory job. It was 12 hours a day. I was like, oh, that last break, I need a chocolate bar to get me through. Like, I just need that burst of energy to get through the last 2 hours of the day. But guess what? I gave up the factory job and I didn't give up eating a chocolate bar every day. And then it was like, oh, I need 2 chocolate bars. And then I was eating 3 chocolate bars. And then I was eating unmentionable amounts of chocolate bars every day. And I would do it, and then I'd hide the wrappers, because then nobody saw me do it, and it totally didn't count.
Okay, well, I have a question for you then. What do you think about all the people out there that are the skinny minis that probably aren't really have, the same predisposition to, obesity as other people, and they're eating nonstop, but then, I was always a fat kid growing up,
yep.
And I was an athlete, but I was chugging Code Red specifically. Code Red was the best Mountain Dew.
Well, duh.
Sour Patch Kids. We'd stay up all night, and basically just eating a ton of sugar, probably over 100 grams in a night, just to keep watching movies, video games, Super Smash Brothers on N64, like Mario Kart, all the best thing possible. But you know what? I would be the only one that would be blowing up. What do you think about those guys that can eat everything? Is it okay for them to still do this?
Do you know what? I think it's awesome that they don't physically see a weight gain. And that's really good for them. But it doesn't mean they're healthy. You can be thin, you can look like a supermodel, and you can have kidney disease. You can be pre-diabetic. You can have even issues with your stomach, your digestion. None of that has anything to do with being thin. Zero. It has zero to do with being thin. You could be 95 pounds, 105 pounds, and sick. Sickly. So not everybody starts for weight loss either. I don't know if you met Cecilia from Keto Freaks, if you met her at KetoCon or not. But we did a live about keto for balance because she was underweight her whole life. And even though she was underweight, she was still pre-diabetic. How? She was never fat. But she struggled between 90 pounds and 105 pounds her whole life. And she's 5'8". So she's not, a petite girl to be that underweight. And she's a grown woman. She has 2 kids. Nobody wants to look like they're 12 years old. Nobody wants that. So keto...
I agree with that too. I think all these people, I think there's a primal way we need to look at how we go about the obesity rate. I don't think skin figure or skin type people deserve the recognition that they get. Maybe if they're eating healthy and I looked into their diet and we did studies and followed the blood tests and everything was fine with them, and that's just naturally how they occur. But generally speaking, I don't think all these people that are too skinny or way too fat are in the clear. I think both are having very rough problems, different demeanor about each one. But you can be diabetic and be a skinny person, and you can be definitely diabetic when you're fatter, and that's going to hold a lot more risk on both ends. Especially for something like surgery, the skinnier people are going to be the ones that can't handle most of that, because when you go through surgery, you need that fat to be able to kind of like counteract some of the inflammation that might happen. And then the fatter people are carrying all that extra weight around on their knees, as well as, significantly increasing the chances of like a heart attack or stroke. Not just small, but significant. If it was like a 13, I'd be like, you go ahead and eat your McDonald's every day.
Go ahead.
I am fine with that. We're talking like a night and day difference. Like, you can die tomorrow if you don't stop eating the way you're eating.
Well, and you know what? I hear a lot of people say carrying around extra weight. So I kind of want to take a moment to tell you what carrying around extra weight is. Because I've literally lost 145 pounds, so I'm exactly half of who I was. So I remember what it was like to carry around literally double my body weight, and it looks like this. It looks like you wake up in the morning and your legs don't quite work. You have pins and needles in your legs. You crawl along the wall to get to the toilet, and you sit there for about 20 minutes and cry until your body works, because you can't physically stand on your own feet in the morning. The pain is so intense that I literally, my morning routine every day was a half an hour adjustment to be able to stand on my own feet. And when I talk to other women who are big like that, they did it too. We just don't admit it to anybody, because it's very shameful to admit that you are literally so big that you can't stand on your own feet in the morning. But that was my everyday. And then my day continued on with 12 painkillers to get through the day, because you take 2 or 3 and then you take those, between 4 and 6 times a day. And that was just to function, like not to be happy and excited and have energy, but just to be able to crawl out of my bed every day. And I didn't know that wasn't okay. Like, that's not how life's supposed to be. You're not supposed to have migraines every day. You don't cry when you poop. Like, all of these problems that I had, I never even realized they were a thing. Like, I just was like, okay, well, I'm fat and unhealthy, and every diet I've ever tried never worked. So I guess I just accept that I'm fat and unhealthy. I spent 40 years that way, so that was going to be how I was going to spend the next, 10 years of my life.
Yeah, and I think it's hard too, to be fair, when you're growing in such you're growing up in such a kind of harsh environment too. And what I mean by harsh is that everybody's pushing this kind of mindset on you, like, no, you need to eat rice, fill yourself up, do the Atkins diet, do this diet, do that diet. Nobody knows what avenue to go down. And I think we just need to take a step back and look at the actual studies that have been happening in the last 60 or 70 years. I mean, keto is not new.
No.
People think other fad diet, and it was invented for epilepsy for children back in the day. And then since then, there's been, especially in the last decade or so, hundreds, if not more, studies showing that keto is reversing chronic disease, especially the ones that are plaguing this nation: diabetes, cancer, as well as Alzheimer's, dementia, Alzheimer's being now deemed type 3 diabetes.
Well, and I'm going to say this. Now, there was a reason why our food became what it was when it did. So think back, 50, 60 years, there was a depression. There wasn't enough food to go around. People were starving. So they were looking to get products on the market that were quick, that were cheap, that were easy to produce, that a large amount of people could consume. But we're not there anymore. We don't need to continue eating those processed convenience foods that come in large bulk for cheap. I'm going to tell you right now, if a bag of macaroni this big costs you $1.99, there's a reason why a bag of macaroni costs $1.99, because you're getting $1.99's worth of value out of the nourishment you're putting in your body. And you know what? As a single mother, because I raised my son by myself pretty much his whole life, we lived on macaroni and cheese. We lived on, macaroni and hot dogs with vegetables thrown in there. That was his favorite meal. Like, he literally requested that for his 3rd birthday. We had macaroni and cheese with tuna and vegetables in it. But that's...
Which is so great in movies. It's so great in movies when, you watch Billy Madison or all these other movies where people are all they eat is pizza and they're all lean and stuff like that. I'm like, guys, they're doing scenes.
Yeah.
They're not really eating that every day. When you like pan across a room of a bachelor pad and they have nothing but mac and cheese and like pizza containers, or like even the Ninja Turtles, like they all love pizza. I'm pretty sure they won't be 5% body fat ripped turtles with pizza as the main source of their nutrition. Right? No way. That's not happening. That's why it's a movie, and that's why we need to like make sure that we're not following these type of mentalities, like the magazines that are paid off. You know, the certain people that are telling you that this is sexy because you're 3% body fat. I think a healthier way to go about it is like, let's get the nutrition right first, and the weight will naturally come off or add on to the weight that you're supposed to be at.
Well, and I love that, because a lot of people come into my group, and I understand why. Because they've heard this word keto, everybody's losing a lot of weight, they want to do it, and they don't really understand that, number one, you heal your body, and number two, you lose weight. It's not really the other way around. Like, you start to eat better, you start to feel healthy, all of a sudden you'll wake up one day and be like, when was the last time I had a migraine? Or a stomach ache, or the last time my joints hurt? When was the last time I was so depressed I couldn't get out of bed? It's been a while. It's been a while. And once those things happen and you get fat adapted, that's when you start to lose weight. If you lose a bunch of weight in the first week, that's water weight. I love you. And that's awesome if you can lose like 20 pounds in a week, but that's water weight. And all that means is that your body was literally holding so much toxin that you're surrounding yourself with fluid to flush that out. So not everybody's going to lose 20 pounds in a week. I didn't lose any weight for 5 months. None. Like zero, zip, nothing. But I was also doing it wrong, which is part of why I started a group. Because when you start keto, you don't know everything. Come on, there's no way. You just don't. I was eating things I shouldn't have. Like, I bought things like, spinach pasta, thinking, look how healthy I am. I'm buying spinach pasta. But guess what? It's made out of spinach starch, and there's no actual spinach in it. And it's even worse in carbs than, white flour macaroni. But I was all like, look at me. I'm healthy. I ate spinach pasta.
I think a combined like Whole30 and keto approach, I think a lot of people either know about keto or they know about Whole30. And I think our audience, specifically for Peterson Farms, is more focused on the Whole30 aspect. And what I like about Whole30 is it gets rid of the cravings. So if you had, every weekend you had ice cream, they're not saying you go substitute that with a keto-friendly ice cream right off the bat. What they're saying is go 30 days by debunking all your cravings. I don't care if it's raw Thai unsweetened coconut milk mixed with like raw cacao and like some monk fruit. Stay away from it. Eat just whole foods. Get your body reset into a fact that, hey, this is what you need. And I think another thing, especially when jumping into a keto diet, I talked to a woman the other day. She was eating 1,200 calories. And she had to be, I don't want to judge a woman by her weight, obviously. I'm just throwing this out there.
No judging.
Like hitting 170 to 180. Now, 1,200 calories, that's not even breakfast for me sometimes. That's like, you have to eat high fats in order to produce fats for energy. And if people are going into this kind of diet where it's not keto because it's just like, I tell people this all the time. I started keto, but it didn't work for me. I was like, okay, what kind of fats were you taking in?
I wasn't.
Like, probably anywhere between 70 to 100. I was like, yeah, you got to get to like 150 and then talk to me about you tried keto.
Yeah. Well, and for everybody it's different, and I'm going to put that out there. Now, I'm going to say, because I do macro calculations for a lot of people when they come in my group and they're confused, it's really not that hard. All it asks you for is it wants to know your current age, your current weight, your body mass index, and how active you are. And then it's going to spit out an average number for the average woman of your height, your weight. But the average woman in their 30s or 40s, like I am, 1,600 calories a day is what they recommend. Now, for me, because I'm post-bariatric and I eat what you would feed a toddler, I looked at those numbers and went, are you kidding me? I'll die. Like, there's no way I can eat 1,600 calories in a day. I'll die. If you think 1,200 isn't much, wait for this. So, Dory, because I'm post-bariatric, I consume between 900 and 950 calories a day. Not because I limit, but because that's physically all I can eat. So, due to that, my macros are different. I eat more fat. I eat 80% fat, 14% protein, 6% carbs, which honestly works out to like 12 to 13 grams of carbs a day for me. But because of my small amount of food, fat is more important for me than the average person. So I want to say if your number you get spit out, you know it's not for you, then don't listen to the number. Keep your goals, your percentages in mind, and eat what you want. Keto is not about calorie restriction. I swear it's not. I swear it's not. You eat the right foods, you eat the whole foods, you eat them in the right combination, and you'll lose weight. You don't have to eat 1,000 calories a day and starve. You can eat, some women can eat 2,000 calories a day as long as you're eating the right combination of food. And I want to say this, diet doesn't mean starve, ladies. We did this. We did this our whole lives. Diet doesn't mean suffer. It doesn't mean starving. Intermittent fasting doesn't mean, oh God, I have 4 hours till I can eat. I'm starving. It means I don't really feel like eating right now, so I'll wait for an hour. You shouldn't suffer. Like if
we have a question.
Oh yay!
Hi, Josh. Oh, there's Renee. Oh, I met one of my first fans ever today at Sprouts. It was amazing. Renee, you're awesome. Right now, the snack bacon, I think, is sold out at Simple Grocer.
Okay.
Go to Whole Foods and request it. Just nonstop. Be like, we need the snack bacon from Peterson's Farms, or at Whole Foods, it's Nature Rancher. Just keep requesting it, and they'll have to bring it in. And then Jody asked, what's high fats? I hope that's a sarcastic but if not, high fats would be, I would say, it has to be around 70 to 80% of your calories. So if you're eating 1,800 calories, that'll probably be like 120 or higher. And if you're not, the two biggest mistakes, how I found anyway, for people that are starting keto, they go way too high protein right off the bat, and they go way too low in fats.
Yes.
And stop you. And now there's a whole thing about carnivore keto right now, but even if you ask the carnivore people, they initially started out on keto to get the fat fueling first to start up. And then they switch over to like finding out where their body can actually elevate the protein or not. Some people, they can eat 150 grams of protein a day and not get kicked out of ketosis and keep a very light ketosis, and they feel great. And they get all the benefits from the extra omega-3s from grass-fed beef and so on and so forth. But some people, I mean, that turns right back into sugar for some people, and especially the diabetics or the people that are going strict keto need to stick to higher fat and lower protein.
1,000,000%. Because you know what? I tried the lower fat version of keto that Dory created. And I'm going to say, if you're trying to do that, it don't work. And I can say that from personal experience, from like pounding that pavement for 5 months straight. Because I was like, I'll do keto, but, maybe not that much fat. Like, I don't really need that much fat. And also, I might die. And my fiance said to me, you know what, honey, it sounds like a great idea. It sounds really healthy for you. It sounds like really good foods. Maybe not so much fat, though. Maybe like less fat, though. So I did. And really, in all honesty, I was just doing low carb, moderate protein, low fat. And I was hungry. I was miserable. I missed everything. And I didn't lose any weight. But here's the funny thing. I still felt good enough with my migraines, with my stomach issues, with the other things that I saw, that I didn't stop. Because there's never a diet I would have done for 5 months and lost 0 pounds and kept doing that. Nobody. Who does that, Dory? Nobody. But I felt better. So does it really matter if if you're losing weight or not? And I did eventually. My goal was 20 pounds and I lost 35. So, you eventually get to where you're going. But for me, I found out as soon as I stopped stressing. Because let's talk a little about cortisol. And what happens when you're like, oh my God, Josh, I haven't lost 5 pounds yet. I've been doing keto for like 2 weeks and I'm doing everything perfect and I haven't lost any weight yet. I think I actually gained a pound. Oh my God, I'm going to die. And then you hop on the scale 3 times a day to be like, did I lose it back? No. And you stress yourself out so bad that it doesn't matter what you eat. You ain't losing weight. You're not losing weight. You have spiked your cortisol so high that you could be living off of water and dreams and you ain't losing weight.
Yeah, I think that goes a lot for also sleep apnea too. I was listening to a podcast the other day. It's like if you have high cortisol levels and you're at a stressful job and it's something that you're worth sacrificing your life for. I mean, either it's like your job, your lifestyle, you're in like Seattle. Cortisol can jump through the roof in all those occasions. And what I urge people is like, if it's not working for you and you generally can't do it anymore, then don't. Like, switch your job. If it's a job you have a boss that's unrelenting to you, switch it. I mean, if you are going onto the scale every day hoping for a miracle, it's not going to come. I think the miracle is in consistency. And the consistency is like, hey, who's going to argue the logic that I'm telling you to eat bacon every day, eating like grass-fed beef, eating like full-fat, awesome coffees with no sugar and, taking like, raw cacao and eating it for the benefits rather than just like the sweet tooth. And I think I tell that to anybody else without like the whole 50 years of modern medicine pushing in the back of our brains that fat's bad. I think anybody would accept that diet. If I told somebody anywhere else and I said, oh, you can eat bacon and eat this, and be like, oh yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Bacon was the buzzword that changed my mind. So I kind of found keto. I found it by accident. So, and I'm going to tell you guys, I found keto because my girlfriend wanted to try the newest miracle shake, right? Like, drink this shake, lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks, and it was a keto OS drink. So we ordered it, right? We ordered the drink. We split a month's supply. We each got 2 weeks. It was way too much money to spend. The day it arrives in the mail, she phones me and she's like, oh my God, Dory, I was researching the best way to use this shake and there's a whole diet. And I was like, girl, you better back up off me with that D word. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I said shake. Girl, I ain't never said that I would go on no diet. So if you want to be my friend, you better back away slowly and just nod. And she's like, oh no, Dory, it's totally different than any other diet. I promise you're going to like this one. You're going to like it. She said, promise me you'll watch the video. I'm sending you, it's 29 minutes. And I was like, dude, I ain't got that kind of time. And she's like, promise you'll watch it. So I was like, fine, I'll watch your stupid video. And I take out my phone and I'm looking at it and I kid you not, I was looking at it and my first thought was, that's right, diet guy, I don't like your face. Why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell me what I should eat? And he started out with bulletproof coffee, and I was like, bleh. Dude, butter and coffee? Are you kidding me right now? If I hadn't promised to watch you, I'd be shutting you off right now. And I continued to watch, and I was sour. Like, I already decided I didn't like it. I was mad. I was mad when I pressed play, and I watched it, and then he said bacon, and I was like, oh, hello, Big Daddy. Tell me more about this bacon.
Sir.
Right? Like, hello, good sir. Tell me more about this bacon. And he started talking about, whole fats and sour creams and high-fat cheese. And I was like, hubba. Okay. Let's chat, Mr. I don't like your face. And from there, it was me. It wasn't her. Like, it's a year and a half later. She doesn't even do keto diet anymore. I ran with it. Like, I started researching, then I researched low carb, then I found groups, then I started a group, then I started YouTube. It just all happened, and I never intended it. I was this much ready to start a diet. This much.
I think that's the big buzzword right there. Not only bacon, but diet. I think another thing that we need to get away from is
the whole
diet.
word.
Diet's like a 5-week to 6-week period between, winter and summer to get in, ab shape level for your Bahamas trip. Diet is not a lifestyle and it's not sustainable. And I think, finding the more sustainable ways of doing it and saying no to the certain people in your life that always go out and things like that. It's hard. I'll tell people, and I'll be honest about it, it's hard because, you know, you have friends that'll like eat this way or that way. But I would just encourage people to be more honest with themselves and their friends and their family. Hey, I'm trying something new because I feel where I'm at in this current time and place, I don't feel I'm the best me. And I feel that this diet or this lifestyle is going to be something that's going to be better for me in the long run. And I want people to explain that to their family members. Because I feel like I think a lot of people get away with the fact that they don't actually explain it very well. And when they don't explain it, it just sounds like crazy talk that you're eating a lot of butter and a lot of bacon. And to their knowledge, they're looking out for you because they are still into that old frame of mindset. And I just want people to urge their family and friends that, hey, this is real study-backed stuff. I have all these people coming to me saying it's reverse diabetes and reverse, or help, with cancer. And by no means am I a doctor, everybody out there, but I'm just telling you these are studies that have been researched and shown to prove that the ketogenic diet has reversed some of these chronic diseases. And I think, once again, it's not the salt and the fat to blame, but it's the sugar.
Yes. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret that Dr. Ken Berry shared with me that I love. You know what? If you don't want to explain to people that you've decided to start a new way of living, just tell them you're allergic. Oh, so I was recently at the doctor and I found out that I'm allergic to forms of sugar and wheat, so I won't be eating that anymore. No offense, but when you bring things to the office, if they have, wheat or grain or sugars in them, I won't be eating them. I just found out from my doctor I'm intolerant. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude. And then guess what? They can't come at you with, can't you just have one? Oh, come on, dude. Like, it's a party. You could have a donut, You're not going to die from one donut. But what people don't understand is if you have a carb and sugar addiction, one donut could literally send you into a spiral that gets you out of eating healthy for a year. Because it happened to a girlfriend of mine. She started keto. Originally, I think she did a 60-day or a 90-day challenge. She did great. She was like, you know what? And that was Nancy. You met Nancy. She was like, you know what? I ain't never going back. I got this. I lost 50 pounds. I ain't never going back. I'm never going to change this. I feel like the queen of the world. I lost 50 pounds. And the next day was Halloween. And she went out trick-or-treating with her grandkids. And she was like, you know what? I could have me one of them little Kit Kats. Well, one of them little Kit Kats ain't going to hurt me none. And then we're going to... One little, don't do it. God, don't do it. Don't, for the love of God. She's like, I can eat me one or two of them little chocolates. And then afterwards they went to McDonald's, right? Oh, I can have me one of them little burgers and the little fries. And guess what? It took her a year and a half to come back to keto. It was that quick. She went from, I got this, I ain't never going back, to a year and a half in the dumps that quick. That quick. And it can happen to you if you have a sugar and carb addiction. It's a real thing. It isn't any different than somebody who spent 20 years on crack cocaine and you give them just one little piece. Because you can't have just one.
Let's dive into that. Now, they did research on this, and they took rats, and I mean, they're not like humans by any means. In some kind of aspects they are. Now, they took 25 rats, and they put them into a controlled double-back study, randomized, and that's the best type of study you can do, not these observational ones that we've been fed to be trained on, which is very little evidence to cause a relationship. Now, these rats were fed both a liquid cocaine solution and also a sugar solution. 23 out of the 25 rats preferred the sugar. The sugar. And yet, sugar is legal and cocaine is illegal.
It's illegal.
Now, this is not for cocaine to be legal by any means.
We're not lobbying for that today.
Everything in our grocery store being concentrated sugar dosages. And in the pathways that they found for those rats, they lit up the same dopamine and serotonin receptors the same way that the cocaine did. So we need to get away from this point that it's just a little bit here or there, and don't worry about that. And it's less of a just, either have diabetes or don't, and that I can't have that. I think it's a great idea Ken had to tell people that. I feel like it shouldn't be necessary, but it's smart because in the end, recently I listened to another thing on the podcast world, and it was how some of these pizza places will advertise gluten-free pizza, and if I encourage this for people to try out. If you're a celiac and you can't have gluten, you literally just cannot do it. You're so definitely ill to it. You cannot have that. I would ask them for their gluten-free option, and then at the very end of ordering process, like, oh, and just by the way, it's not in a facility where there's any gluten at all because I'm celiac. They will do everything they can to get you out of that pizza order. Why? It's because they're not doing the best they can. They have their box of gluten-free crust up in the top of the area. They don't clean down their board, so then they throw it on top of the same wheat enriched flour that they've been using for the last 24 days. And they could possibly get the celiac person to go into arrest if they don't watch out what they're doing.
Cross-contamination is a big one too, right? And that happens in a lot of facilities. And I think that's something that's kind of made us a little less aware of our packaging too, because we've all become accustomed to the may contain on our labeling. And when I look at it, I go, oh, that just means it's made in a facility with peanuts. That doesn't actually affect me, but it might.
Yeah.
It might actually affect you. I want to close out with talking about what is in our stores, because for my Canadian people, and I love you guys, Peterson's is not available to us yet. But I'm going to say, you know what? That part's our job, guys. That part is our job. We need to lobby for that. We need to go to our local stores and we need to say, hey, so you got that awesome Peterson's bacon yet? Because it's sugar-free. Because you know what? Things don't come to us by accident. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. The buyers in the stores who supply our grocery stores, they don't care if we're healthy. They don't. They want cheap. So they're looking for the cheapest products that they can make the most money off of, and they're going to put whatever on the shelves that we will buy. But I'm going to tell you guys a secret. When we walk into our grocery stores and we say, you know what, I love you, dude. I've been shopping here for 20 years. You get my money every week. But you know what? I'm sad to say I'm going to have to stop giving you my money until you bring in products that I want to feed my family. Because you know what? The power of the dollar is ours at the end of the day. I'm going to tell you what, if you stop buying their garbage bacon, they're going to work double time to bring the bacon that you will buy, because sooner or later, they're going to go broke not selling you bacon. You come to them every single week and you buy 2 packs of bacon a week. When you go to them and say, you know what, I faithfully come here every 2 weeks for 20 years, but I'm going to have to stop till you bring me good food. I'm sorry. I love you. I'll come back. I swear I will. Get me the food I want.
It's another point that people have never dealt in that space before, and I feel that people generally feel that they're unwelcome to do that. But I can tell you it's the complete opposite.
It is.
Those stores, like the Whole Food managers and the Sprouts managers and all these different locations, they want to hear from the people in the general public. They only want to sell more, just like we were referring to. And if you're saying that this product can come into a store and sell so much and so well, they'll be all for it. And especially because if you guys are going into the health aspect and looking at individualism and trying to find what best works for your family, then suggest it. Because I don't think it should be a fact that, hey, we have to go online to order certain foods. Amazon's searching because I can't find the organic stuff here or the 100% no sugar type stuff. I mean, go ask those people. If they don't have the items, tell them, you should get this. I mean, by the way, I just want to mention that if you go into a store and it's not labeled correctly and it's in the glass window and the guy has no recollection of how they made the spread or the sauce they put on it, don't buy it, because they probably used everything that you can possibly get inflamed with that: lactose, gluten, and sugar.
Well, and you honestly don't know. Whenever possible, you're better off to make it at home, with ingredients that you know that you can trust. But you know what? None of us lives in a bubble. None of us lives in a bubble. We still go out with our friends. We go out with our family. We dine out. We may even, gasp, go for the odd cocktail every now and then. So it's important that when you're doing something as a legitimate lifestyle, you can go anywhere and order meat and vegetables. But you still want to watch your sauces, right? When you're ordering out, you just don't know. What do they put in it? What's in the label? What's not on the label? You don't usually get like the big wing jugs. Oh, can you bring out that jug of wing sauce so I can read the label? I'm not weird though.
I mean, it's just knowing before you go to and it stinks that I have to do this. I mean, just the other day, I went hiking with my buddy, right?
Oh, I saw that live.
Right? Camelback Mountain, except it was 110 degrees and it was after a storm, so super humid. We were sweating. Made it back down off the mountain, and literally I needed brisket. Something in my body was like, I need brisket, like the highest, fattiest brisket. And I go to a store, and I pay for it. I go sit down. My buddy gets it, and he literally plops down this plastic plate with half a pound of brisket and just sauce all over it. And it said on the menu, half a pound of brisket. And when I ordered that, I was thinking, oh, who would ruin a perfectly good brisket with sauce? But you know what? That's my bad, because I should have told him, like, hey,
no sauce.
Ask the question. And I think everybody has a burning question when they order. Like if you're sitting down at a restaurant, oh, is this steak cooked in olive oil or is it cooked in canola oil? Because I would much prefer, and most restaurants have this, the other option. And all you have to do is just mention that and ask that question. Never be afraid to ask questions.
Well, because you know what? You are paying for a dining experience, right? That's the bottom line. You are the consumer, and it is okay. It isn't any different than saying, oh, can I get my salad without mushrooms and green peppers because I don't like mushrooms and green peppers. It's not that big of a deal to say, hey, any chance you've got real olive oil and vinegar that you can bring out to my table for me because I'm a weirdo and I don't eat bottled, salad dressing. Or again, pull Dr. Ken's and say, oh, I'm allergic to absolutely everything, dude. If you could just bring me olive oil and vinegar, you'd be my new best friend. Just saying.
Hey, we went to, I call it hacked with my buddy Jeff Hackett, who's one of the amazing people that work at Peterson Farms, along with many other people. And we went down to the farm and we went to go see Neil Dudley, who's our VP, and he showed us the plan. But afterwards, we went to a Mexican restaurant. And who do you think tried to keto hack their way through a Mexican restaurant?
This guy.
So we sit down, and once again, they don't tell you. They don't even put it on the menu. I ordered just a steak, with some of the peppers and, guac.
Yeah.
And, the tortilla underneath. So everything you can imagine, the rice on the side, the beans. So overall, what did I do? I was like, can you just bring us, the biggest thing of guac? And that'll be our one appetizer. So we eat around all the carbs, eat just the meat and the fat. And the other people are looking at us like, you're not going to eat that tortilla? And I was like, no. And then I'm sitting there spooning the guac into my mouth.
When Nancy and I were in Austin, we decided we would go get taco truck. Because you have to have taco truck when you're there. And you should have seen the girl's face when Nancy was like, no tortilla. What? You no want tortilla? No tortilla for you? No tortilla for this one. This one no like a tortilla. And I was like, yeah, me too. Oh, what? You have no tortilla? How you eat? With a spoon, dude. With a spoon.
It's nuts. And to each their own, once again, judging by what your body and your ancestry, your gut biome, as well as just your genetics have to do with it, there's a big stretch. But across the board, I think we can all say that bacon is a superfood, and it will forever be a superfood.
Yes.
I mean, a couple of things I want to mention. Japanese culture. Japan is by far the longest living people in the history of the world. Now, these are study-backed facts. And they eat the highest amount of pork.
Yes.
They eat as much pork as they do chicken and beef. So I think we should follow their lead. Eat more bacon, eat more pork, as long as it's, the good raised pigs.
The good raised
rather
pigs,
than
yes.
the factory farmed animals. And I think we all need to look at this not only a health issue, but a sustainability issue. And buy the grass-fed, buy the extra dollar worth of like good bacon rather than. Me and my buddy have this kind of fight all the time. He's the typical bodybuilder type guy, carbs, oatmeal, white rice. He goes to the store, he sees the deal, like $3 for a pack of bacon. Deal. I go to the store, I'm like, I have to go to Sprouts separately because we don't shop at the same stores to get the
good bacon.
No sugar bacon.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I'm going to say that's a progression too. If when you're starting, all you can afford is the $3 bacon, then you know what? Buy the $3 bacon. But your rest of your grocery bill is going to go down. Because you once you're fat adapted, you just eat less, period. I don't care who you are. You'll eat less, your grocery bills will go down, you're buying less pop, less chip, less junk food. So you know what? Next month or the month after, you can afford to spring for the good bacon. You can afford to spring for the good salad dressing. You know, you can afford to spring for the good no sugar added ketchup. But you know what? If you're at the bottom of your barrel, start where you can. If you're eating hot dogs and mustard, it's better than eating Cheetos and Snickers.
Well, you're also paying less for doctor bills, pharmaceuticals being jammed down your throat, and probably any other kind of regulation. Because usually, you know, they mix well with other drugs for some reason that they've never done studies. Oh, you have high cholesterol? Let's put you on statins. Oh, you have, you know, diabetes? Let's put you on metformin. And then add other stuff because metformin's not working anymore. Okay, let's just remove all that, eat a clean keto diet, reverse it, feel healthier and great, and spend money on what people really care about. I think we can all agree is good
bacon.
Food.
Like bacon, on the good bacon. I'll tell you what. Now, before we close out, because I do have to, I have another live starting at 8. But Peterson's just rolled out something new and awesome. I want the dish because I love me the deli meat.
Whole line of no sugar deli meats. That's right, you can actually enjoy deli meats. I highly, highly encourage people to look at petersonsfarms.com or go to thesimplegrocer.com.
Yes, we love them.
As well as hit us up on YouTube, hit us up on our Facebook, and make sure you just keep liking us and our Instagram videos. More to come, guys. Thank you, Dory, for coming on. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Colorful Keto with Dory. You can find me on Instagram, same name. I'm on Pinterest. I'm on YouTube. And I'm taking over Instagram TV, baby. I love me that new format. So I'm going to say this. Today, this is the first time we're going to do this. I'm going to give away our awesome t-shirt. Sorry I'm late. I was making bacon, which in Canada means something dirty, I'm just going to say. What? So what I'm going to do this time is as soon as I'm done off of my live at 8 o'clock, I'm going to take a 10-minute clip of this video. I'm going to put it on Instagram TV. And lucky number, let's say 13, because it's Friday the 13th coming up, that comments on the IGTV hashtag Bacon Loves Me Back, I will ship them this amazing t-shirt directly to them with my best wishes and love.
That's a lot.
Right? Kisses even.
Yeah, you are the most amazing individual I probably met at KetoCon. Thank you so much for all. And we'll probably look for in the future doing another live video with you because you're just so amazing.
Definitely. We love you. Have a great day. Bye, darling.
Bye. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.